All right, a very good morning to everyone. Today a little bit different topic. Yesterday I was working on a project and I came across some really weird behavior which I didn't expect in terms of how Business Central and the AI language handles transactions. In combination with commits, hidden commits, and error logging. So I really need to look into how this exactly works and what options I have left to actually do some decent error logging. And I thought, why not stream it? So let's get started. I've created a new app with ALGO, just a clean one to get this tested properly. You can see hello world still here. So we're going to delete this. And as I said already, I need to have an error log. So let's first create a very simple error log to have some kind of way to save those errors. Just an entry number will do fine. Well, this is interesting. Maybe you can put into the chat or leave a comment or whatever. Do you have this issue as well, that if you create a new table that you need to reload the whole window to get to get IntelliSense working again? I'm never sure, since I'm working on Linux, if this is something I should report or if this is just a thing because I'm working on non-supported stuff here. Let's do a reload window. And now it works. All right, so let's just do that. And all I really care about for this purpose would be a error text field. Yeah, a bit longer. I don't really care about anything else. And let's maybe create a procedure log error. And here I want to do unlimited and rec init text insert. I know I'm violating several guidelines here, but that's just for testing purposes, so will be deleted afterwards for sure. Promised. Inherent permissions. Everyone is allowed to do this, and I want to do another function. Hey, procedure log last without spaces. Log last error. Sometimes Copilot thinks he knows what's going on, but it's not. All right, so this should be enough. Now let's create a page for this. Error log list page. Yep. Error log. Area content is fine. repeater. I never know how to name my repeater. This is so useless. The name for the repeater. Okay. Yeah, tooltip. I don't really care about the tooltip. Now, no actions, no variables. That should work. Okay. So now I have something to log to. Now, do I create actions to test stuff on the? I mean, why not? Let's go back. Let's create actions to test what I want to test right on that page. So I can just put this into the launch JSON, and so I don't need to navigate around the system too much. All right. So what do I actually want to test? So, like, the very basic task would be just to log the error message. And I might be doing this. I mean, now I have the scope of the tag of the error log, but I want to simulate that I don't have that. Error log, so creating a variable, just doing error log error text. So that would be one thing, but this is not logging. Like this is actually not what I really want to test, but I just give it a shot to make sure that everything's working correctly. Okay. Now I can do this and I get an error log. All right, now let's call this simple error. Log last error. Now what if I do this? Some custom error. And I want to log the last error. It already complains that this is unreachable code. Let's run it anyways. Log last error. So there is the error message, but it doesn't get logged. So this is where the fun begins. Now, how do I do this? I could do a TryFunction. Let's do local procedure, some code with error. TryFunction. Now, and I'm curious if this already will work, or if I need to really surround it with an if. All right, so this is good. If not, then log error. This would probably be the way you want to do this. So let's see. Now I don't see the error popping up anymore, and I can log it correctly. Now, I'm thinking, let's just do well, the real world example would now be for my actual problem. For example, you want to validate a number of fields on the sales header, and some of those fields actually do modifies down the road. So let's see. If we can do a real world example here. Sales header, I will just find first, since I know there are some in the system already, so I don't need to bother creating them. Now, if I were to validate the what dates do we have? I know there is one requested delivery date. We will just do like -1. So that way, yeah, of course, sales header. We'll just, or maybe +1, don't know. And we want to do modify. Like this. Now, I would expect, what would I expect? I mean, there is an error, so I would expect to have everything rolled back. Happened before this TryFunction, the error to be logged at the very end. So that would be my expectation, that this would not be saved in the database. But let's see what happens if I run this. The date is not valid. So maybe this is not filled. So let's put in today first. Yeah. This is interesting. You don't even get to see the error message, so you cannot even tell the developer what's going on. You can't access the last error message anymore. If you go back home, I think the last error message will be cleared. So this is more than broken. That is not even the issue that we were seeing before. This is something else. So no, you cannot do, like you in general cannot check reliably any validates, since anyone could subscribe to any of the event triggers and do some modify stuff in there. And if this is part, like if this is, and in some cases called from within a TryFunction, it will just produce a runtime error. So this is way stupid. Like that. And I don't even have an idea what would be a better implementation of how the TryFunction should work. I guess it would be good to have something like if not validate, to actually be able to log errors from within validates without the limitation of having of not being able to do write transactions. Okay, so this doesn't work. Let's see how we can fix this. Let's put it into a code unit. And then, I mean, a TryFunction can have parameters. A code unit cannot have parameters. So this is again getting complicated, but the only thing we have. So let's do this. Fill or do validate. And I don't, in my case, I don't need to have any record. But in the real world example, I will probably, in my actual scenario, I will probably need to create a parameter table to just be able to pass in whatever I need to pass in to get this to run. So let's see. Let's put this in here. If I just do run like this, it will probably still do nothing. Like that would at least be my expectation. Actions, log last error. What? Didn't I publish this? Okay, what is going on? Now I'm confused. Let's check this with the debugger actually. Maybe there is something else going wrong. It's trying to do LockTable, which is not permitted. I know this. Within TryFunctions. But what? This is a Codeunit.Run. Is this even more broken than I thought it would be? So like, do we have an error message? Call the function LockTable is not allowed within the call. Oh, it's still a try function. Oh, that makes sense. Yep. So this makes sense. We can't do this anymore. So I think this error, like to actually, this should go here. Since we want to replicate the try function, this should go here. And this should go here. Now, if not run, then log last error. So this would, okay, let's see. Publish. Log last error. Let's see. Some custom error. So this seems to have worked. Now let's get to the interesting part. What I just learned before was that whatever is run inside a code unit surrounded with if Codeunit.Run is run as its own transaction. So in this case, the error will roll back everything that happened here. But if there won't be an error, this will be committed. Let's double check. Sales header. What is the first sales header in the system? Don't even know. Let's debug this real quick to find out which sales header do we get. Log last error. Let's see. Okay, something happened. Something weird happened. The debugger stopped the activity. Interesting. All right. So this is the first quote in the environment, in the system. All right. Let's see. Sales quotes. This one. Requested delivery date. Requested delivery date. This is still empty. Now if I move this error out of here into here, let's try this. Log last error. We get the error message. Let's check the sales quotes. It's saved. Now let's remove this again. Yeah, whatever. Because what I wanted to test now, let's move this code into a separate procedure. Local procedure log last error. And we'll complain again that this name is already in use. So like this. And this will be called from here. And we don't need those. The end is missing. Now, there is something called like a parameter, or what is this? A property, function property called CommitBehavior. How do I set this? This way. CommitBehavior. And you can set this to ignore. Now the idea is, and the tooltip is very helpful. Well, it actually describes what it's doing. Any commits that will be called from within the scope of this procedure, so any function call and any function calls within that function call and so on, like the whole code path underneath that function will ignore commits if this function was not called with a different commit behavior from above. So I think it has default error and ignore. By default, you cannot set it explicitly to default, but error and ignore works. So I wanted to give it a shot if the ignore will override this implicit commit. I don't have much hope, but that was the last idea I had last evening when I played around with this before. Let's see, sales quotes. It doesn't ignore the commit. So my issue with this is I am not able, and it seems like I'm not able at all, to catch errors reliably in AL. So I don't show those errors to the user, but lock them instead into some kind of like table to like process them later, and more importantly in batch, without having persistent changes in the system. So imagine you're working with an import, some kind of data import, and you want to process a whole file and give the user all the issues with that import file without changing anything in the database just yet. Just like only if the import runs completely, you want to change anything in the database. That's not possible. Like you can log some changes, some issues with the file, but if you cannot call the validate triggers on the target tables, you won't be able to actually catch all the issues before processing. And since you will never be able to know if a validate trigger does not run any modifiers or database access, like insert or delete or LockTable or all the other things, like there is a list of commands that are not allowed. Like those can be added any moment in time. Like any update of any extension can add those kind of access on in some of the events, subscribers or anywhere. That's an issue. Thinking if there is anything else I can try. Well, collecting, like there is ErrorBehavior as well, and we can set that to collect. So collectible errors will be gathered and code execution will be continued until the end of the ErrorBehavior scope. So let's do this, and let's not do the if around this. And this will require some custom code at the end to collect, like to iterate over all the collected errors afterwards. Let's run this for a second. It still shows the error, because errors are not collectible by default. You would need to create an error info object and set the property collectible to true in order to have this being a collectible error. And like virtually none of the errors from the base app are collectible because they did not refactor the code afterwards. So this also doesn't work. So yeah, this might be a short stream. I thought there would be some more ways to try this, to fiddle around with this. But I'm actually, as far as I was before, I don't know how to do this. Because I need to lock those errors somehow without the database transactions. I cannot do Codeunit.Run, I cannot do TryFunctions. There is no if validate. Is there anything I'm missing? Like those are, like there is an error in here. You cannot change the requested delivery date when the promised delivery date has been filled in. So this is typical. This is an error from the base app whenever I fill the requested delivery date. And while this is still straightforward, there could be other errors that I can't foresee. and can't check myself, also event subscribers, like this could be disabled in the environment, then like, I really need to call the validate trigger. The only other... Oh. I have an idea. This goes into things you probably don't want to do. I mean, the only other engine that I know in the AI language that will roll back transactions even though data was committed is test runners. But I'm not sure if I'm able to or if I would want to run test code, like test runners, like in the actual code. Can I run test runners from code? That would be the first question. Am I able to actually run tests? I mean, this is about finding out what's possible. And I mean, I can't have parameters in here, so I would need to figure out a way to get the parameter in here anyways. So if I do, let's find out, I guess. If I do test, this is my test. And I might need to create a test runner that actually has procedure isolation, because the default one is code unit isolation, and that's not what I would want. If I'm doing this, then I would want to have procedure isolation. But if like we can start from here. All right. So this, oh yeah, this has to be procedure. Test, or like, this is not even test. Try, validate, requested, delivery date. So when this is executed, I would be able to retrieve the error no matter what. And I'm sure that this will be rolled back. But this will be rolled back in any case. Now that's interesting. Now I would be able to figure out if there is an issue, but if there is no issue, I would still need to do it again, basically. But I can find, like I can log errors. Is this what I want? There will be runtime issues, like runtime errors, if there are unexpected modal pages, unexpected messages, unexpected confirms in the code. Not that validates should do UI in any way, but they could. I still like this more than having data in the environment, so I still want to figure out if this is actually a viable way of doing this. Okay, let's find out if we can run those tests from within the code. How do we do that? Explorer. We need to find, like, look at the page for the AL test runner. It's the CUL test runner. We have the AL test runner as well. I'll look at this first. So this is code coverage. I don't care about code. Don't care about code coverage. Test enabled code unit. Oh, I think we actually need to have like a dependency on the test runner extension. Let's see. Extension management. Test runner. Didn't I copy the ID? There we go. Name, publisher, Microsoft, version, whatever. Okay. Now download symbols. Yep. There we go. Back to the Explorer. Test runner. Now, so this would be can we do like group by module test runner and then just have a look at the page? I'll test 2. This is the one I want to look at. Now the actions, run test. Run selected test. Test method line. This is actually interesting. Test suite management. Run test suite select. Is this what I was looking at before? Run selected tests. Run all tests. Next test. Stability run. Set filters to tests. Where is it? Run selected tests. All right. Run tests. Okay. So this will just call the test runner ID with the test method line filtered down to whatever needs to be run. That makes a lot of sense. Now let's see, test runner, isolation, code unit. Test runner management, run tests. Why does this always need to be so nested. Reset environment. Copy set range, modify all. This method is called when the caller needs to run test code unit, but do not want to log results, and the caller has an alternative way to log results. Currently, this is used by the performance toolkit. Interesting. Test runner isolation code unit. This is probably the one I want to look at. Oh no. What? Oh, this is a subtype test runner. We can do on before, on after, but this is probably just. Let's see if this is doing anything or not. Test runner management. Get test function. There's really nothing I care about. I just care about running this. Test method line, test code unit. I want to extract the essence of what, like how a test is run, and just do that. I don't want to do anything more than running the test, seeing if there is an error, and then, well, rolling back everything that happens. So let's see what other test fit this makes sense. Line number, line type, code unit or function. Not really anything. Select tests, test coverage default, test runner. This is a permission set. Get methods. Progress dialog. Test runner. Run test. So this code unit, initialize. Where do those come from? This is my main issue right now. So we have test method line, and there are function, run, results, start time. Wait. Test method line. Test method line. Test method line, line type. Oh, here we are. So this will contain the code unit this line is coming from, and I assume, like from what this code This is the, oh, this is the primary key thing, wasn't it? Yeah, test unit. Okay, so this is the primary key. This is the suit of the code unit name. This is fine. Now, and then it will run. It will do run on the test code unit. So that way, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. So when the test, this is the test runner management. This is not a runner, subtype runner. So the question would be, from where will this be called? Let's go back. Let's check this. So here we have a test runner with test isolation code unit. And it will call this function. All right. So current test method line, and then it will just run this. Okay, so I got that. So if I want to do like the whole code unit in isolation testing, I can just do like a really simple code unit runner and just call the test code, like do a run on that test code unit from within a runner with isolation. And I assume that if I do the same thing with procedure isolation, I can just... That's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay, so I think I got this. Let's see. Let's do some major hacking here. Test runner procedure isolation. Like this. This will be a subtype. Test runner isolation procedure. Function, whatever. I don't care. Just make it run. Okay, and from within the run, I can now do like code unit run, code unit run, code unit. Did I call that do validate? Do validate. This is all I need. Now let's see what will happen. I need to close some windows here, some files. Like this. Now page. Let's call that runner, test runner instead. See what happens. All right. Log last error. Well, shit. And I don't think I cleared this before. So this was not a valid test scenario. Let's test this again. Yeah, I know, success. Oh, the error doesn't get logged because I didn't write the code for that. That's quotes. Yep, okay, so that gets rolled back. I'm sure that any changes done within that test runner actually get reverted. Now the main question is, can I suppress that warning, that confirm message? Can I do that? That would be mandatory. can I do that? Where does it actually come from? I don't do anything here. What happens if I do this? Let's see. Still. So this was a success. But I don't remember seeing this before. Like when I do like individual runs from the test runner page, I don't recall that I saw this message. Not sure if ever, but like not regularly at least. So there has to be a way. This has to be work. This must work. Let's see. Test runner management. Come on, give me something. Reset environment. Start time. This is just handling the whole stuff around this, that the test runner is actually updated with whatever you need to see, like with the results and everything. Interesting. Temporary fix to... It would be interesting to see how long this temporary fix already in here. Let's see. Get methods, isolation code unit. Show me this one. On before test run. Let's have a look at this function. Oops. This is the management code unit. This is just handling some logging. Let's look at the page again. Like when I test role center. Where is it? Test this. No, this one. Check the actions. Run all the tests. The progress dialog would be interesting. Maybe this one is suppressing the other messages somehow. Dialogs are opening. Maybe the whole test framework behaves a little different when it's like when I do not run all the tests but run individual tests. So this one calls run test suite selection, and this one run selected tests. We need to look at those again. The management. Is this the wrong code unit? Test, oh, the test suite management. This one. Okay, how does it do that? Okay, this was what I saw before. Filtered. We need this and this. Wait a second. Where is this coming from? Okay, so we'll need to probably insert one of those, then insert the test method line. I mean, we can just filter it down to whatever we need. We don't need to do like fancy shit or anything. It's just like the way we need it. And then it will run. Also, we don't need the test suite because it will just use the runner ID from that. And then it will run the runner with the test method line. Now let's have a look at the runner again. Trying to understand this, so bear with me here. Isolation code unit. So this has the runner line and the run tests. Where's, oh, it will. Man. So looking at the runner management again with the run test code, the run tests function, test runner management. Let's see. How does that work? That it only runs one line at a time? Because it will then run the code unit like we did. What is it doing with that method line? It's filtering. Doing the initialize. This is not the runner. This is just copying over so it doesn't work on the same instance of that record. It does the set range, so we're not running multiple test suites. That makes sense. Then it will clear all the results from whatever lines we selected before, commit that to the database. Coverage initialize. On test run suite. Is there even subscribers somewhere that is subscribing to this? That would be stupid. I mean, it would be stupid. Let's have a look at the different test runner. Not sure if they're all implemented the same way. And they're all just, okay. Just run the tests in that, through that runner management. So it all comes back together in one place. I mean, the test runner has a special subtype, so I see that I can run test code units from within the test runner and have it work in some way. Like if I would do, where's my test runner? If I would remove this, I don't even think it would do anything. Like, I mean, maybe it would do something, because it's not the run trigger in that code unit. It's just the test code unit, the test function. And I'm not sure if the test, like if you can. That's interesting. That is interesting. Let's delete that. Let's see what happens. Because I think I didn't clear it before again. We have success, that's fine. It's quotes. Okay, so it doesn't get reverted, so. It seems to be right. Let's try something else. Let's see. I'll test runner. I'll test tool. Now let's get that code unit. Yeah, I shouldn't have clicked that. I mean, it's 50,100, I guess. Where is it? The reason this takes so long is that it needs to calculate the captions of all those objects before it can open the page, and the first time this really takes a while. There we go. 50,100. So if I do this, I don't get an error message. Like any, not an error message. I don't get any confirm message. But this is what I want to see. Like if I do this, I also don't get anything. So something in the scope of this action has to suppress that message, and I don't know what it is. But I want to find out. So let's go back. Let's go back to that page. What do we know? I don't know how exactly I need to create the test method line, but I can find out. This is not the issue. Now the test suite management will run the selected test. Let's go back to the path. There has to be something I'm missing. Okay. That all makes sense. Then it constructs the filter for the line number. We'll apply that. It will do a find first, and it will do run tests. This. And from the test suite, it will just grab the test runner ID, run that with the test method line. So this is exactly what we're doing from here. We're running the code unit, but without that record. maybe there is some hard-coded thing going on that whenever a runner retrieves the method line, it will actually... Okay, let's have a look at what that record looks like. Yeah, starting the debugger would probably help. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's actually the code unit. Oh no, it's not. Wait a second. Let's try again. I would have thought that... What is the filter? Oh, okay. It will do like the code unit and the line. So that makes sense. And this is just the code unit name. This code unit is obviously the ID, type code unit, line number, test your default. So this works. This is fine. This is good. This is just doing the... Okay, this is fine as well. Nothing crazy happening here. So now I cleared all the error results from those lines. Doing some more set range. Now the initialize. What is this doing? Okay, oh, this is code coverage. So if disabled execute. Okay, so this doesn't do anything else because we don't have the code coverage enabled. This is an empty subscriber per run. All right, and then it will iterate over all the lines. Code coverage again, nothing else. Now it will invoked by the platform or before any Codeunit run. What? Okay. Get test code unit. Oh, this will just do this, the timer handling and everything. This is fine. Now it runs my test. Yep, and after modify, and after modify, and after modify, after modify, and after modifies. Okay. Get test function. There is so much going on. This is crazy. Interesting. They didn't even continue with the second line. Oh yeah, why? Because it says line type code unit. Let's create a second test function and see what it what this will change. Just a copy, so I can run one and not the other one. Okay, so did methods. Now if I run this will be skipped. Let's debug again. I'm not sure yet if the end result, if I manage to get this to work, will be something I will want to do in production. But I still want to know, now that I started, I want to know what's possible. Okay, so yep, this was the breakpoint. All right. Okay. Oh, this is the line I didn't see before. I missed that one. Okay, so this seems like it's filtered correctly. So we have the code unit itself and that one function. Now, why does it do only that one function? Test method line find set. So this will do the code unit again. This is code coverage. This doesn't matter. Now, well, this is oh, those I did see this before, but those are triggers. So when okay, so this makes a lot of sense now, at least more sense. So we know the code unit, we know the code unit name. There is no function. We know the permission. Test suite. And the filter. Okay. And get test coordinate, whatever. Don't really care. Oh crap! I did go one up too much. Okay, so let's do that again. Run no. Selected test. Okay. So this is not interesting. This will just do the start logging. It's fine. Oh, it will exit true. Why does it exit true? Oh, because the function name is empty. Invoke by the platform before any code unit is run. Okay, so we can control with this event whether or not that line gets executed. Where does it get the... Where is that coming from? Oh, that's a global variable. Interesting. So it actually comes back to the same instance. Are those single instance by default? No. Oh, that's in, now it gets interesting. So now we get this event again. But it will return exit false since the current function does not fit to whatever filter we've set before. Okay. So we could implement a custom thing to... And I don't really care about having them run independently. Okay, I know how they run those functions independently now, but I still don't know how they get rid of that error message, like the confirmation message. Maybe that's the on after. Like there is an on after run. Let's wait for that. This will do permissions. Skip logging results is false. Clear error online. I also feel like this message we saw should be present in some kind of AL code. Let's invoke that again and see what that message actually... Wait a second. Let's see. Let's see if we can find this message real quick. Maybe this. Oh, the search in GitHub is so annoying. I mean, I want to search for the whole thing and not just for part of it. Let's try something different first. Oh, this is not a test run anymore. Let's fix that. And let's see. On after test run. What happens if we just define this and see what happens? Maybe there is some kind of default event subscriber or something in there which would produce this. Oh, there we go. All right, now we're talking. Let's do, what do we do? If confirm function name can we do, we can. %1, %2, false, function name, success. Okay, I want to go through them one by one. That's because that's why the confirm. All right, let's go. Okay, and I assume this is the whole code unit. All right, I can run tests in the background without the user noticing it. And I can log the result manually. I mean, it's obvious that this works because of the runner page. I can log the result, like retrieve the result of the test from within here, from the test runner. Test runner can tell me if this worked or not. Now, do I need to do one test for everything? Or will I be able to inject code with an interface? So I can have just one test, like a generic test code unit with a generic test. I can put in whatever code I need to run, what I needed to check, retrieve the result, and then run the same code normally. That would be my goal. That I can run whatever I need in here to try if it works. If the platform revert anything that happened or did not happen to the database. And just do it normally afterwards. Like a regular. If I know that it works, then I can run it outside of isolation to persist it into the database. That would be my goal. All right. Let's see. How do we inject anything in here? I mean, we can just do something like, can we just do set interface, something interface, something like this. Let's see. Well, then I would need to create a code unit for each and individual. I'm not sure if an interface is even necessary. I can either create like tons of interfaces. I would need to handle all of them, and like if they're implemented, it will run them. Or if I create one interface, I would still need to create a code unit for each of them. And if I need to create single code units for all of those scenarios, then I can just create single code units for all of those scenarios and just put the code into the run trigger and skip the whole interface part. Is there a smarter way to do this? Probably when I like that, but then I could do like parameters for my code units, so I can decide which part to run. So I would save code unit objects. Let's do code unit to test, and that's integer, so I don't care. Integer, and then set code unit ID, code unit ID integer. And the test just does this. Code unit run code unit to test. There we go. Now this is, you can delete this and save. Delete. Now this is my run test code unit in installation. Yep, without the backslash. Okay. This runs the procedure isolation. So I need the same thing, basically, in here, without that. To then do this. 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 I don't think I need the if. Just like this should work. And now I can create code units. Code unit. Test. Sales header validation. Validation. And now I deleted my code. Sales header. Need to write it again real quick. Sales header. Oh. Sales header, find first. Sales header, validate. Come on. Validate. Promised. Promised? No, requested delivery date was the one we were testing with. Requested delivery date today. And sales header modify. Like this, and now I can do test runner, set code unit ID, code unit. Come on. Test sales header validation. This should work. Oh, yeah, my message. Okay, so this worked. Now, let's simulate an error in this. Something goes wrong, which I want to know. And I want to log this. So this says no. And what I can do is, and that's really like, that's actually cool. If not success, let's grab this. Yeah, we don't need a begin end here. And we just want to, like for now, just want to do get last error text. Does that work? We don't want to log the error for the code unit as well. So let's change around some custom error text for function only. Don't want to log it twice. There we go. That doesn't give me the ability to log any error. Like if there are multiple errors or any collected scenarios or whatever, that still doesn't enable me to do that. But I can log that. Now, let's see if that would return false. I'm in heaven. If there are test failures and the runner returns false on Codeunit.Run. Oh. Let's see. Let's double check. This is awesome. That means I can do this. I can now do this. Like I can Let's make this better. Wait a second. Let's not call it set run. Let's call it run. Run code unit ID. Boolean. I would still need to do this probably. Wouldn't I? And then do this. Because I don't have this. If I would have the keyword this already next version, I can just do it in one. I don't need the variable anymore, but I need to run it on the variable I'm setting that code unit. So yeah. Actually not sure if I can do that. If I don't need the run trigger from the test runner. So it would need to... Wait. We can do it. We can do it. Set will stay as it is. Now we will do another procedure called run with code unit ID. It will have the variable itself. And on there, we can then do set and exit run like this. A little stupid, but that's how it is right now. And that means we can do if not, no, if this succeeds, we want to run it manually. Like in the current transaction, this way. This is how we want it to do. So we check if it works. If it works, rerun it again, but without isolation. If it will fail, it will log the error automatically where it has to go. And if it doesn't fail, it will still roll back. Because we cannot control the transaction rollback individually, like dynamically. We can just control this by the runner, and then it will always apply. This is actually... Is this a cool thing? Like, is this something we need? Is this a module we would need? I'm still not sure if this is like... I'm still not sure that this is a good idea. But it's the best we have, I guess. That's all we can do. The only way to run code, be 100% sure that everything, all the changes it will do, no matter how deep the code chain, no matter what it does, no matter how many commits there will be, it will revert whatever it did. It will let us know if there were any errors or if there were none. And if there were none, we can run it again. This will create load on the database, essentially. Everything will be run twice. We'll double the load on the database and on the system. But we don't have a way to commit the transaction if the test was successful. And we also, if the test runner has isolation disabled, we have no way to revert it afterwards if we see there was an error. So I guess this is as good as it will get. And we need a shitload of code units. I mean, this is the code unit ID. Well, the advantage of interfaces would be that I can put stuff into the code unit. Like I can have the code unit initialized with a state, like global variables. And then have the interface run whatever function it needs to run. That will make it easier for me. Like if I have like all kinds of validates I need to run on the sales header, like I wouldn't even do like this. I would just do each validate in a separate function. I could put them into functions. I could then initialize the code unit with the decision of which line I want to run in this instance, and then have the function that's implemented by the interface work with the global variable to decide which line of code it needs to execute. That way I could put, like there has to be logic, but I could put more into one code unit. What's the time? I still have some time. All right, let's do that. That's better. It continues. Conditional runner. And here we have just run. Oh no, run is probably not conditional run. Run is not a good idea. Run. All right, let's do this. Implements conditional runner. And we do like this. Let's do this. Local procedure with error. Procedure. Can't type currently. Now without error, like this, like this. Not exactly. This is how I want it. Now procedure set not to execute. I'm not as creative anymore today. Not to execute, and this has to be something like in. Let's do it like this, and then here we can do this like this. I think that should do the trick. Let's restructure some of those. First do First to this. Set interface. And yes, I could rename, but then I wouldn't see the... I'm this way I get the error messages where I need to change it afterwards. So this is the conditional runner. Interface. Does that work? Can I do it like this? I hope so. Okay, and then here we do second. We do like this. Conditional run. So this is the test runner now, or the test code unit. This way. Now the test runner gets the same thing. Test runner. In. In. Like this. Like this. Not set code unit ID, but oh yes, I didn't rename them. Set interface. Run code unit, run with interface. Set interface. Now this works. Now I can do this, as in the code unit, but before I can set what to execute. Yeah, we don't need this anymore. Now let's do run without error. And actually without error and run with error. So this would be without error. Yes. Where's that message coming from? Do I still have the... Oh, this is the... Wait a second, runner. I'm getting lost. Wait a second. Test runner isolation, run with interface. I need to debug this in a second to be sure that it's actually working. With error. That would be with error, without error. So that works. It still works. Now, want to test those just to be sure that I didn't miss anything. Okay, so with error. Makes sense. It's even debuggable, so it doesn't skip the... There would do log error. It's fine. Go through this, go through all of this. Continue. Oh, okay. Okay. That's what I thought. I had a brain lag when because I have too many runs. So the test code unit returns the result. Not the test runner. The test runner run always does, always returns true if it was successful. And it doesn't matter if the test was successful. So we need to add code for this. Test was successful. Or did I just execute the... No, I did log the error. So no, okay. Test was successful. Like this. Now we need to do a procedure. Get test was successful. Exit. That is a typo. Fun. All right. And we don't need to exit the run. We need to exit this. Second test. Now run with error. This is fine. And it did not break a second time. Let's see. Run without error. And then it breaks. Okay. So that seems to be working. Now it works. Now it's finished. Now I've created a way to run code in isolation. Let's do another test, another quick test. Run with error. Now what if just do some bullshit here. Sales header, record sales header. What if I am in the right transaction already? I cannot do like if Codeunit.Run in write transactions. Can I run tests in write transactions? There are some Codeunit runs in there, so I can. It works. Run with error. Run with error. I am in the right transaction. Without any doubt. And I can run all of this. I can run all of this in a right transaction. I'm not sure if this is genius or if this is too powerful. I mean, there are downsides. Like as soon as there are like any modal dialogues or any pages or anything that's happening inside that test code unit, like inside this, what I want to test. As soon as there's anything in there that the test doesn't like, it will throw different errors. But that's just how it is. There has to be at least some catches. Yep, I mean, I don't know if I have much more to say. I mean, we could do something like with enums here or whatever. Like this, there is room for improvement to make it look nice. But the major goal was just to find a way to run code in isolation. And I mean, not a pretty solution, but it is a solution. Now I need to think about whether I want to use that in production or not. Let me know what you think in the comments, in the chat. Is this something that should be used in production? Or is it too dangerous or too... don't know the word for this. Too crazy? Because like the test runner, the test framework it's not meant to be used like this. And I'm thinking about any downsides, but I mean, there is the performance overhead. Everything has to run twice if there's no error. I need to think about whether there is any way to solve this. But I don't think so. I don't really think there is a way to do this. So we have like doubled impact of performance onto the database and the system. But apart from that, the test runner has to be installed, but it is installed in sandboxes as well. Is there a limitation if I cannot run test runners in production environments? Because this now is a container that I'm running this in. Can I run this in production? I need to find out. I need to modify the code a little bit and run this in my production environment to find out if there are limitations of test runner in production environments. That would be a showstopper. It would be stupid. But I will do that afterwards. I will do that off stream. So I guess that's it for today. That's all I wanted to test, or all I can test for now. So thank you very much for joining in with me this morning, and have a good day, I guess. See you next time.